at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Springfield, where we're going to begin our service in song by turning to 25. Number 25, Love is My Decision.
Good morning. We'll sing this one with a recording, so we'll repeat verse 4 twice at the end. So verse 4 you'll sing twice. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now.
It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now.
Well, we have lit the Christ candle as a part of our greater connection to the unity movement. And we connect and hold individual ministries in prayer each week. And this week, we're going to be blessing the churches in the state of Arizona. I have spoken at a couple of churches in Arizona over my career, so I'll be thinking of those churches right now. Maybe you've been to Arizona, attended a Unity church. We have some really fine ones there. So let's just go within in prayer right now as we think of the Grand Canyon State. We think of all the people there. And we think of our greater world, this planet Earth upon which we live, this spaceship Earth, as it sometimes is called. And we see it filled with people who are discovering their interconnection to their spiritual nature, their connection with the Christ within. We are grateful and give thanks for this knowing. And so it is. Amen. And now our platform assistant, Chris Smith, is coming on up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are so glad you are here to join us today for worship. We extend a special welcome to those of you visiting today for the first time. On your way in today, you should have received a welcome packet. We also have a gift for you. Please see one of our greeters after today's service. Unity is a worldwide spiritual movement. We are an inclusive community, and we welcome all people. Reiki treatments will be offered after the Sunday service in the chat room. Use the sign-up sheet located in the foyer to receive a free 12 to 15-minute treatment. If you are number 1 and number 2 on the sign-up sheet, go directly to the chat room after the service to begin your treatment. Other participants, please continue to enjoy fellowship in Margaret Kane Hall until you are called by one of the practitioners. The 9 a.m. Spiritually Speaking class on Sundays is currently studying The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. Everyone is welcome to attend. Books are available from our bookstore. Tuesday at 11 a.m., Peggy Tell will host our Unity Prayer Service in Zoom. This is a space to support with prayer those on our prayer list, on our hearts, and in our community. Wednesday at 5:30 p.m., Karen Kelly will lead the gathering meditation via Zoom, creating a sacred space for quiet introspective meditation. Upcoming events scheduled for our youth and family ministry are Creative Adventures, happening today at noon, and a play date on September 1st at noon. Both will be in the Youth Ed room. Join us next week after the service for our monthly fellowship potluck and birthday celebration. Bring your favorite dish to share. You are invited to participate in the monthly Healing Crystal Bowls meditation with Peggy Patty on Thursday, September 5th at 6 p.m. Immerse yourself in the soothing healing vibrations as we send harmony, peace, and balance into our community and into our world. Suggested love offering of $15. This year's World Day of Prayer is September 12th, and the theme is Moving Mountains. The affirmation, fueled by faith, I can move mountains. Unity of Springfield Sanctuary will be available for prayer on Thursday, September 12th from 2 to 5 p.m. Come and go as your schedule permits. If you would like to register for the online events with Unity Worldwide, visit worlddayofprayer.org to learn how you can participate. We are planning another art show to run from September 14th to mid-January. The show will kick off with a reception on September 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. We hope you come out to support this ongoing fun event where we showcase our local talents, skills, and gifts. You are invited to the Unity Family Picnic September 15th at Southern View Park. Bring your family, a friend, neighbor, or co-worker. Grill Master Frank will be serving up hamburgers, hot dogs, and vegan brats. Drinks will also be provided. The team is looking for folks to bring individually packaged chips, potato salad, baked beans, cookies, brownies, fruit, or a favorite dish. To help with planning and preparation, we ask that you RSVP with the number of guests you are bringing. There are sign-up sheets in the entrance and in Margaret Kane Hall, or contact the office. If you would like to help with the setup and cleanup, see Vicki Power for details. Festivities will kick off at 11:30 a.m. Come enjoy some great food, fellowship, games, and fun. Emails are sent out weekly that have information on current happenings and how to join in events. To sign up for our emails, ask a greeter for a blue card and fill out both sides, or visit our website to subscribe. Also, check out our website for up-to-date information at unityofspringfieldil.org. That's unityofspringfieldil, all lowercase, all run together, .org. We would like to express a special thank you to our Youth and Family Ministry Director, Jen Miller. We appreciate all her energy and efforts towards building a thriving youth program here at Unity of Springfield. Creating our lives and our world through the thoughts and beliefs we hold in mind is a spiritual principle we practice at Unity of Springfield. We also know this truth: together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. Vision statement: a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And together, the mission statement: we recognize God is love, individualized in all people. Therefore, we provide a positive environment for spiritual growth that empowers all to be God's love in the world. And I believe Myra has a comment to make. Oh, we'll do that first. Our youth and family ministry empowers the next generation with loving kindness and acceptance, creating a safe. Oh, I'm not the only one that's supposed to read that. That's new. Okay. Why don't we read this one together? Together, our youth and family ministry empowers the next generation with loving kindness and acceptance, creating a safe, sacred space for children, teens, and young adults to explore, discover, and experience spirituality. And now I'll invite Myra to make a comment.
Hi, folks. Oh, boy, that seems loud. I just wanted to talk about yesterday's cleanup. It was such a huge success and recognize the people who were there. Chris Smith was there pulling weeds and moving branches, and Jen, Tina, and Mary pulled a lot of weeds over by this garage. So it looks a lot, it still needs work, but it's looking a lot better. Becky used her chainsaw to get down branches covering the drive, and Bill did the watering. I hate watering. I think I covered everybody. Did I miss anybody you could think of? Tina, Jen, Tina, and Mary did the weeds and stuff. So it was very successful, and I'm just so grateful to everybody that showed up and worked hard. I think it was maybe an hour and a half, but thank you, folks. I appreciate you all. Oh, and Reverend Alden was there. He does a lot to help out with buildings and grounds. So I just wanted to recognize him and how grateful I am for that.
Thank you, Myra. And at this point, I will invite up Deb Smith to share with us today's daily word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning, when I was getting dressed, I decided to wear a Rolling Stones t-shirt.
Let's see.
This I got at an actual concert this summer. On July 21st, our daughter Callie took me to see the Rolling Stones in Branson, Missouri, at the Thunder Ridge Amphitheater and Nature Center. And I got this on thinking I'm honoring Reverend Alden's spiritual mentor, Keith Richards. And then I opened up my daily word, August 25th, glory. And the first words are magnificence, radiance, and tremendous power. Oh my gosh, that's Mick Jagger. I just want to say, if you ever have the opportunity, at 80 years of age, Mick Jagger still moves and performs like a 49-year-old on speed and steroids. He's dazzling. Okay, back to the daily word. The word for today is glory. I celebrate the glory of God in myself and others. Magnificence, radiance, and tremendous power. These are awe-inspiring qualities that describe the glory of God. Because I am a living expression of spirit, these glorious attributes are also part of my spiritual nature. In the peace of prayer, exquisite awareness of God's glory fills my mind and heart. Everyone is God's living expression, a reflection of divine glory just as I am, even when my limited human perception has not yet perceived it. My faith shows me this truth about every person I meet. As my awareness of glory within awakens, spiritual wisdom, understanding, and love teach me to cooperate with all who are seeking to build greater harmony, abundance, and compassion among all humankind and the world's creatures. And from the scriptures, from John 17:22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. Again, the word for today, glory, and please join me for the affirmation. I celebrate the glory of God in myself and all others. And today, before we hear the meditation and message from Reverend Alden, we have some very special music being performed by our very own Alyssa Furling.
Well, let us prepare for a time of meditation by finding a comfortable place in our seats. And when you're ready, gently close your eyes and say to yourself, I am relaxed. I am at peace. I am one with the infinite Spirit of God. Just feel yourself drifting away from all the busyness and all of the activity of your life. All of the have-tos, all of the obligations. There's plenty of time for those things. Right now, this moment is our time to feel and to know and to experience the fullness of God's Spirit that is ever within us, wherever we are in this universe. There is this connection, this oneness. And right now we feel the fullness of God's Spirit within, the Christ within, flowing through our hearts, our minds, flowing through our physical bodies. And through that infilling, there is a shifting consciousness, a shift away from being either fearful or worried or concerned about this and that, to one of total calm and peace, to one of optimism and confidence in how the world is unfolding. And that in spite of conditions to the contrary, where we see this or that that's disturbing, somehow in some way beyond any way that we know, this flow of Spirit is bringing about the best outcome, the best situation for everybody. Through this interconnection with Spirit, we view our world as a place where everybody is winning. Everybody has the opportunity to express their own innate creativity, can bring the fullness of who they are to their lives, their work, their families, their relationships with others, to everything. And this is the vision we hold for ourselves. And through holding it for ourselves and believing in it for ourselves, we're able to do that for others. To see others' innate potential unfolding through them. And so let us, for the next few moments, sit in the silence and calm and peace of this place or wherever you're experiencing this meditation right now. And let the fullness of God's Spirit flow through you fully and completely for a moment in the silence. In the silence, we discover our empowerment. And when we can get ourselves out of the way, and by that I mean our human selves out of the way, we can then let the fullness of our spirituality, of the Christ within, bring about outcomes and blessings beyond what we can even imagine. And so we take this moment now to give thanks for this time we've had to sit quietly in meditation and to feel our oneness with Spirit and with God. And for this we are grateful and give thanks in the name and through the power of the living Christ presence within us all. And so it is. Amen. I'd like to thank everybody who's a part of making this service possible, and this is a Sunday without a pianist. And how did that happen, that our backup pianist is also not available? But we're so grateful to Alyssa, who has stepped up to, well, continuing being our song leader, but also sharing that beautiful song with us. And thank you so much. And Dave for doing his work on the flute. It's just so soothing to listen to that instrument while we're meditating. And to Chris and Deb, who are our platform people today, and Danny and Chris again, back in the booth. We have a lot of Chris's in this church. And to Chris, Zelly, and Becky, who are greeters today. And also later, Tim is going to be helping with, well, you're going to see what Tim is going to do musically in just a little bit here. And Chris Farashon, who is our administrative person in Ohio, who I'll tell you, we're so grateful she continues to work with us. And welcome to everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Well, this is the last talk in this series based on this book right here called Be More Tree, and was given to me by my classmate from high school, Andrea Anderson. It was a great idea she had for this sermon series. she gives me all kinds of ideas for things to do. And by the way, she doesn't attend a Unity church. She knows where it is, but no, she's a Catholic, a very progressive Catholic. But anyway, she comes up with some awesome ideas. So I'd like to thank everybody for indulging me. I am a tree aficionado. I love trees, I always have. I love planting them, I love looking at them. I love the fact that here in Springfield, we have some marvelous trees just in our city, driving around. And when on my way home, I look at my favorite ones. One is the bald cypress over here, kind of on the corner. And there's another one on Southwind. It's an apple tree, and you should see all the apples that are growing on it. I look at that tree every time when I'm heading home. But this is the last talk in this summer series. I thought, well, in the summer, be a little different. You know, it's kind of in the church world, summer is sort of a valley. And well, let's do something different to keep people's attention through the summer, because, you know, we go on vacations, we break up our patterns a little bit in terms of church attendance. So let's do something a little more upbeat. And so this is the last talk, and we're going to pull up our slide. There we go. All right. Last talk, be open to change, based on the balsam fir tree. And this is a dog that we had for a number of years. Her name's Laura. Laura's a nice dog. And Laura decided to pose next to this balsam fir tree that we had in our yard back in Indiana. So we're going to use an example actually from this book. The balsam fir is in this book, and it's good to look horticulturally at these different trees to understand what truth they're trying to convey to us in a spiritual sense. And so the balsam fir, what can we learn from the balsam fir tree? Well, first thing is this: we're here in Illinois. We maybe have heard of fir trees, maybe we've heard of the balsam fir tree. Sadly, it is not native to the state of Illinois. Ever. Well, maybe not ever. During the last ice age. You remember the last ice age in Illinois? I'm not talking back in 78 when that snowstorm blew in. No. I did some investigation. According to the Illinois State Museum, I mean, that sounds like an authority about the history of Illinois. During the Pleistocene epoch, which ran from 2.6 million years ago to 11,700 years ago, basically glaciated times, when there was a lot of ice around. You know, back even before Keith Richards was born. Balsam firs grew in the state of Illinois. Yes, they did. But today, it is, there we go. It's a northern tree. It's in the United States, it's a northern tree. In Canada, it's a southern tree. Depends on your perspective. But it grows in places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, New England. You can see the map here, and then on up into Canada. Now, the one thing about the balsam fir tree, and let's see if anybody wants to challenge me on this, it is the best Christmas tree ever. All right. Have you ever had one in your home? You know, back when you had live trees, not the plastic one you got now. You've had a balsam fir. Have you ever had a wreath? Balsam wreath, you know, on the door, and you, oh. When my mother was alive, she would send to us a balsam wreath from the Green Zone, Vermont. Always Vermont. You get this big box, you know, in December, first part of that. And oh gosh, that wreath was really something. I really miss my mother. I mean, not just for the wreath, you know, I miss her personally. But the scent of that wreath was really something, and I actually inherited something from my mother, and I brought it with me today. This is a balsam fir pillow. Got little chickadees on it. Oh, God, the scent. Could use some new needles maybe, but Balsam fir tree is an awesome tree. I have always loved this tree. And I'm going to show you, there's one here that what we did, we ended up with balsam firs in southern Indiana, and it's not native to Indiana either, by the way, is that a family member has a cabin up in northern Michigan. And they told us, you can dig up all the balsam firs you want. To them, it was a weed. I brought a lot of them back. It was a lot of fun to come back with a van load full of kids and all these little pots and little things inside the van full of these little balsam fir seedlings and daddy longlegs walking on them all over the place. You ever have one get on you when you're driving? Oh, God. So we planted them around our property in places that we thought they would make it. In the shade. In soil that was loose, as loose as we could find any in our concrete soil property. And for a number of years, they survived, and some of them actually grew. You see, it's a pretty robust looking tree here. And then we had the summer from hell, I mean literally hell. You ever had one of those here? Hitting 100 degrees? No, they didn't like it. I cried when they all died. I cut them down like I was doing some sort of sacred funeral act, piled them in a part of the woods and said, well, I enjoyed them while they were here. Of course, the tree gods looked down at me and they said, you know, we're sending the cops around for that tree abuse you did, bringing these down from Michigan to Indiana. Oh, I made that up, I know. What can we learn from this wonderful Christmas tree? Other than it's a beautiful evergreen tree from the far north. The fact is, it's able to keep its needles during the most bitterly cold weather. Because if you look at that map, those are places that are pretty cold, and it's able to photosynthesize at 30 below zero, 40 below zero. No problem. Have any of you lived in those zones before? Some of you. I know I did. A couple of you. Yeah? Very, very chilly areas. We lived in such a climate in Wisconsin for 17 glorious months. It was an awesome time. Maybe the time you spent in those northerly climes was awesome for you. That's why you're still there, right? Okay. Yeah, the balsam fir grows really well here. This is me in front of my old church. This is proof I actually did have a job in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. For those of you checking my resume still, okay? That's me. I'm out in front of this sign. There are balsam firs growing around. And I was out there with that extremely thick jacket with a snow shovel trying to remove the ice and snow from our mailbox so that we could get our mail. You can see the waves of snow against the sign. Balsam firs have to deal with this kind of weather. And you know, when the waves of snow are crashing against your front porch, it's tough to put on a smile like this. It is. Balsam firs grow in this kind of climate. And the reason that this person has a smile on their face is because they're going to get in that car, go to the airport, and fly to Las Vegas. Oh, and this Christmas with a balsam fir. the ornaments. Oh, putting on the tree. Also, you'll see the guard. We hired a guard for this tree. It was such a valuable tree. Can you see the guard? Here, I'll show you. Right. Oh, yeah. Most people are afraid of having that kind of guard for their Christmas tree because they think that that guard will probably climb up into the Christmas tree and pull it down. Not that guard. That guard knew what to do. $20 for this tree. You got to admit that's a pretty good deal. Of course, it came from a company called Menards. You've heard of Menards? They're right down the freeway here. In Eau Claire, Wisconsin, there was only Menards. No Home Depot, no Lowe's, forever and ever. Bless you, Myra. Forever and ever, amen. You know why? Menards is headquartered in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. But the scent of the balsam fir. The thing about the balsam fir that we can learn is it's able to adjust to the weathers. Very harsh weather. It's very flexible. It's able to handle the polar vortices blasting down. Its bark is tough enough to handle it. The resin inside the leaves, inside the twigs, inside the trunk, are able to withstand the 30 and 40 below zero, able to continue to live, to grow, to photosynthesize. How are we at handling harsh conditions? How are we at photosynthesizing? Well, you think I'm being funny, right? Because we're not trees. Anybody here a tree? Anybody here want to be a tree? We're not trees. We're people. If there's anything, we kind of need to limit ourselves to the exposure of things like cold weather or too much sunlight. But I'm not talking about photosynthesis here in terms of chlorophyll. It's how we deal with outside challenges that come to us and the internal component that we bring to the challenges that we face. Now, in a physical sense, if we move from a cold climate to a hot climate, there's a bodily adjustment that we have to go through. Or if we move from a very, very hot climate to a cooler climate, we have to deal with that. Now, if you've never moved before and you've always lived, say, here in Springfield, think about the last time you went to the movies in the summer. And it's 90 outside and a little humid. Then you go into the theater and sit down and think, I should have brought my parka. Yeah. We have to adjust to the air conditioning. Just like the inside of a beer cave. You ever been in a beer cave? I see some heads going like this. Yeah. Danny used to work at a convenience store that had a beer cave. I remember getting a tour of that. I'm like, wow, look at all this beer. And it's cold. There's an internal component to our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, our attitudes. So how are we changing in consciousness to deal with the different environments that we find ourselves in? We read, the Spirit of the Lord will come powerfully upon you, and you will prophesy with him, and you will be changed into a different person. Being open to change requires a willingness to be changed, a willingness to be transformed, to become a different person. Oh, by the way, that's me with my balsam fir. This is what I thought the slide was. I love the scent. Love the scent. We actually had on our property in Wisconsin a 35-foot tall balsam fir tree. This is it here. It knows how to adjust. It knows how to live in harsh conditions. And so we need to adjust to conditions, changed within, transformed within. And that's not something that we gravitate to very naturally and very easily. We generally resist change. We love our routines. We love the ruts in our road, don't we? You know, if that rut isn't there, something's wrong, right? And we're only open to change when the only thing to really do is to change, when we have to make that choice. Abraham Maslow said, in any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or step back into safety. To step forward into growth or back into safety, into the familiar, into the ruts, into our comfort zones. When really the challenges that we face are opportunities to do what? To grow, to expand our consciousness, to learn something new. But we have to learn to change. Can't stay the same. We weren't born into this world to stay the same, even at whatever age we happen to be. I remember when I learned from the doctor that I was a diabetic. That was like 2007, if I'm remembering right. And one of the things I learned from that appointment and others is I couldn't eat a whole box of donuts anymore. And our cat, you know, the Christmas tree guard cat, when he was younger, he came across a box of donuts I had bought. Krispy Kremes, chocolate covered, you know, with the cream inside. And he decided to create the size of donut for me that I was allowed to have. You get half a donut. I ate half. You get the other half. The other two donuts, those are for other people. I had to learn to move forward and change the way I ate. I still like donuts, I'll be honest. But I only get half a donut. Have you ever watched me in the fellowship time back here? And I sit down with a little coffee and half a donut. It's because my boss told me what I was allowed to eat. Winston Churchill once said this. He said, to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Now, for many of us, maybe we can make one positive, long-lasting change a year. Usually at the first of the year, when we make a resolution, I'm going to make this resolution too, and with most people, it's exercise, right? Isn't that the number one thing, probably? Or maybe it's spend more time in meditation, maybe it's modifying one's diet, but often it's exercise. We don't want to overdo it. I mean, that's what most of us think. But you know, why wait until the calendar moves to make the next change? If you're on a roll with change, roll with it. Ride the wave. When you consider Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of Great Britain during World War II, they had to make a lot of changes to what they were doing to respond to the threat from the Germans, to push back the German Air Force. and to prevent them from succeeding. And not just to change this or that, but to change fully the strategy, the equipment, the responses. The necessity of the moment pushed the changes that kept the Germans away. The Germans never invaded Great Britain. They wanted to, but they couldn't do it because they were up against somebody who was directing a lot of other somebodies to make the changes necessary to defeat them and to let them know, you don't want to come here. There is such an existential motivation happening right now in a country in Eastern Europe. Wouldn't you agree? And we've seen some changes in their strategy. This began on August 6th, which most Russians state as the beginning of the war with Ukraine. Think about that one. It's called the Kursk Special Military Operation. By the way, yesterday was Independence Day for Ukraine. They're like 4th of July. August 24th, 1991. There are different levels of change that we need to consider. It's kind of a basic level of change, and then there's a more advanced one. And it's defined by the author and philosopher Ken Wilber. And he talks about a difference between translation and transformation. Now, he talks about translation. Now, most of us think about translation like we're going to translate this from, say, Ukrainian to English or from German to Spanish. But he talks about translation a little differently. And he says translation is like learning a new language. You learn to look at your life and its meaning in new ways, gaining new perspective and perspective according to whichever spiritual tradition is being presented. Most of the energy of traditional religion is in the realm of translation. Anytime you're dealing with praying for things or for healing, you are at the level of translation. It is a both necessary and important level of spiritual realization. So when we pray for healing, when we have our prayer ministry here, we have a box, you can contact us, call us, whatever. We will hold in prayer whatever the need is. Praying for healing and abundance or the resolution of some relationship issues. Box is right back there. And this is a very good thing. But he talks further about transformation. He calls it a radical change in terms of spirituality. Those operating at the transformational level can be called mystics, having cultivated a profound inner life, which leads to significant changes in their outer lives. Example, all in all, meditation lifestyle. So when we think of change, there's the occasional change and the constant change. There's translation change, which is maybe less frequent, more incremental, more as needed, where transformational change is something that is 24/7. We review our whole lives as a process of our being transformed. It's simply translation made a constant lifestyle and practice and looking at life from the inside out. That's the mystic's life. When we're focused from within and we look to the outer versus being on the outer and looking within and trying to find our spiritual center. So one's more of a beginning, an entry level, if you want to call it that, and one is more the advanced course that we discover on the way. Mahatma Gandhi said, "We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme, a wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We do not need to wait to see what others do. So the balsam fir, it's a tough tree. It's a tree that knows how to adjust. And if we're going to be transformative in our lives, transformative in our lifestyle, we have to become more balsam fir, adjusting to temperatures and conditions and growing all the time, especially when it includes conditions that we wouldn't necessarily consider to be conducive to our growth or difficult. So when it's 30 below zero, the balsam fir, we're suffering a little bit. Much more so than at, say, 72 degrees. And we're kind of like that too. But it adjusts, and we adjust. We change, we grow. That's our purpose. That's why we're here. And so, what have we learned from all the trees? Let's do a quick recap. Back on July 7th, that's when we started this journey. Being adaptable, like the African sausage tree. You know, this tree here had to deal with a Category 4 hurricane. It got bent right up out of the ground, but it adapted, so we learned to be adaptable. The willow tree teaches us to love where we live, to accept the good we have right where we are, and not be always looking to the green grass over there. And then we have the yew tree, and how it can, well, grow to be big and strong and tall over thousands of years. The yew tree tells us, don't be in such a hurry. Be patient. And the olive tree, also a very old tree. I'm going to give the batteries a little spin here. There we go. All right. The olive tree that just gives of itself without expecting some sort of payback. It's selfless. And so we need to learn to give without, the ulterior motives that can sometimes be the reason why we do things and give to others. The lilac tree. Oh, look how, this one smells good too. The fragrance is overwhelming. Teaches us that happiness is always our choice. It's not something that somebody else dictates to us. We're the one that learns to be fragrant. And then, the banana tree also got hit by the hurricane, flattened them out, had to cut them all down, started over. We can start over too. We can feel like a hurricane hit our lives and, we get through it. We begin again. Last week, the black walnut tree teaches us to attend to our car, to attend to our self-care, because we're no good to anybody else unless we've got our act together. And of course, we've just covered the balsam fir. Come on. There's Laura. Now, trees are like good people who care for others. They have to keep standing in the sun, but they gave shade to others. Whatever fruits they bear, they do not eat themselves, but give them to others. How kind they are. And the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Now, right now, we're going to do something a little different. Finish up our service. We're going to write on these cards that hopefully everybody has one. And if you need a pencil or pen, we've got those too. And if you need a card, just hold up your hand. We've been doing a lot of over here on this side too, in the front. We've been looking at a lot of PowerPoint slides and hearing some guy up here just babble on about trees and how wonderful they are. What we're going to do now is we're going to make a direct connection with a tree, a real growing tree. And so what we want to do is you take some time to write down your feelings of appreciation for this tree here. You might remember how a storm blew down a huge, huge branch of this tree on our parking lot. Well, the tree's still there, but it could use some love. Our love, our appreciation for it being alive. By the way, it is a hackberry tree. If you're wondering what kind it is, you can always spot a hackberry tree by the bark and the little lumps that are on it, like little, I think lump's the best word to use. So take some time right now to write whatever blessing you want to give to this tree. And while you're doing that, I found a song about trees. I'm going to play while you're writing your blessing, what you want to communicate to our hackberry tree in the backyard. So for right now, we're going to do that. And then when we get done and after we have the offering and the prayer for protection, we're going to go outside and have the peace song out there. And we're going to go up to this tree and stand around it and read our blessing to our lovely hackberry tree. But let me get my guitar here. This is a song I'd never heard before about trees. You know, I told you how I spent a lot of time looking for songs about black walnut trees. And there weren't any good black walnut trees. Remember last week I made a song? But this is a really sweet song here. It's by Ken Medema. It's called The Tree Song. I saw a tree by the riverside one day as I walked along, straight as an arrow and pointing to the sky, growing tall and strong. How did you grow so tall and strong? I said